Okay, guys, this is take 6. Chris Cullen back with you on CC's Aquatic Adventures, and on my videos I don't do editing, so I'm pretty much live all the time. Like I don't stop, or I do edit some things. Like I put the video together, but I don't sit there and edit a lot of time. I don't use a lot of my time to edit, put it that way, because I don't have time, and I was supposed to have some help with this channel, but I haven't had any help. I'm pretty much doing it by myself. Because I had people that were interested in the hobby and kind of fell by the wayside and don't want to do it anymore. I mean, it is what it is. I see a lot of people come and go in this hobby, and I try to be as educational as I possibly can. That's what the channel's for. But you do lose people out of the hobby, and I don't have enough help to run this channel. So I do a lot of things off the top of my head. I don't have anything, there's nothing written down, or I just do it off the top of my head. And I very, very rarely edit. The only thing I do is put videos together because I'll stop the camera or whatever. But I don't really make a lot of mistakes. If I do make mistakes, I just start over and do the video again. Very frustrating, but that's the way I do it. And we're just here to be educational and to show you guys, pretty much be transparent in the hobby and show you guys what a regular day or a regular hobbyist does in a regular day. Pretty much. So what I wanted to get into really was I have an issue outside, and we'll get to that in a second, but I figure while I'm on here making a video about that, I'll make a video on what's going on with CC's Aquatic Adventures. Now, if you guys are in the hobby, you guys know that during the summertime, it kind of drops off, sales and interest kind of drop off. So if you watch my channel, I haven't really done a lot of videos. The only thing I've done recently was I was able to go and do videos on specific tanks, which people like, and I've got some good views in that. I've also done some stuff on the pond outside, which hasn't gotten a lot of views, which I don't know why, but I guess people aren't interested in that right now. So it is what it is. I mean, but we try to get everybody involved and try to cover all aspects of the hobby, which I do. And of course, with the tanks, like I said, a lot of my tanks are self-sufficient, so you don't see me doing a lot of videos on cleaning or whatever. I pretty much explained to you how I run my tanks. We switched to ceramic media and polyfill. We got rid of all the carbon in the tanks. We do have some carbon in some tanks that we keep just because of just to get rid of medicine. And I feel like sometimes when I see a fish that's it got some kind of like a mark on them or something, or that I can really treat with salt. But if I do a treat with salt, I put carbon in there, and it seems like it clears up the water. It could have been something in the water that I put in there. It could have been something, I put my hands in there and whatever. The carbon will get that stuff out of the tank. So it hasn't happened a lot, but it does happen. I haven't had a lot of deaths in these tanks either. So we had some when we first moved in. We did, and of course there was I had some issues with a fish that got aggressive. We put him in a smaller tank. So, and we're still trying to work that out. We're still trying to get a bigger tank. We haven't been able to do that yet. But there will be more content once the winter time comes out, because I'll be home more. And I'm a very active guy, so in the summertime I'm the same way as the people. I go outside, spend a lot of time outside because it's beautiful outside. I go fishing, we go traveling. I do a shoot with a pool league, and I keep myself active, even though I have a heart condition. But I still keep myself active and outside. So the fish content really hasn't been high. I was doing a video every 2 or 3 days. Now it's been once a week, and I will do that until probably like on October, November, once I start getting, once I start staying inside more. So you'll see more videos. But for now, like I said, like the rest of the population, we like to go outside. We like to do stuff outside. So our fish tanks kind of take a back seat. So that's the reason why we haven't seen much content. It happens. So anyway, and also I'm on a fixed income, so when you see stuff rising all around you and you don't, you can't change anything about it. It's tough. You don't want to spend any money on your hobby. So we kind of put that in the back burner. I set up one pump downstairs so we can run all my tanks with one pump, so it takes less electricity. A lot of stuff like that I'm trying to cut back on. So it's very difficult. I got a little bit of a nose thing going on this morning. Kind of probably sinuses, but anyway, you know, that's the kind of stuff is we kind of we kind of like regulate it or kind of put a limit on it, and we're trying to cut back on some stuff. So there's been a lot of things going on. But anyway, the main thing that I want to share with you guys is when you have fish tanks and you're in the winter time and you don't have a lot of time, you want your tanks to be self-sufficient. You want to have ecosystems. You want to have what they call seasoned tanks. All my tanks right now are seasoned. Now, people like to do a lot of maintenance. The only maintenance I do, like I said, is change my polyfill once every couple weeks, and I'll do a water change once a month. And the water change is easy to do. All I do is I have a pump, and I pump the water out into the. If you look real close, I'll come out here. I'll show you guys. I'll turn the camera. There's my driveway, and I'll usually, you know, pump the water out here, and it'll go in as a drain out there. If you look real close, you can see the drain. And so that's the way I do water changes. And I also, you know, when I fill the water, I have a tote in here that I put water in, and then I'll use the pump to fill the tanks. And you know, it doesn't take that long, and I don't do a lot. I sit there and put the pump in there. I don't do a lot of gravel vac because I do have plants, and I do feel like if you do gravel, and plus I use black blasting sand, so I don't have a lot of waste that sticks into the gravel. So I don't want to really. I could probably go in there and do a gravel vac every now and then. I do every now and then, but it's not necessary. You know, these tanks really. If you look down here on the black blasting sand, there's not a lot of waste in the bottom there. It doesn't get really, you know, eat up. And plus, whatever food I have left over, I always try to keep a snail in here. You know, ram's horn snails. I got Nereid snails. If you look real closer, that's a Nereid snail down here. And there's one up here too. That's just a regular mystery snail. And back there on the wall, and you can see it. I don't know if you can see it back there. Back there is a ram's horn snail. So the ram's horns, they'll take care of all this algae. Now this tank had a bunch of algae in it, pretty much filled up with green. I don't know if you remember, but this whole tank is all green. This is all still here, but this is going to be eaten. So you want to build an ecosystem, and of course there's algae back in the filter, but there's also wood in here, so these snails have something to eat. And I do feed this tank a lot, so they'll get enough food on the bottom. So you always want to have, you know, and if you do have multiple tanks like I do, and you do have some growth of algae, like hair algae is a big thing. I do leave my lights on a lot. I will make sure that I have the right species in those tanks. Like, you know, my biggest thing is Siamese algae eaters. But I had a problem with them in the guppy tank because they chased all the guppies away. So I had to move them to the 55. The lights are off right now because I don't put the lights on until about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But you know, you can move stuff around. You know, as long as you don't have any disease in your tank. But I don't. So I move fish around, move stuff around to take care of certain things in the tank. I very rarely get in there with a scraper or clean algae off the glass. I don't do that. I don't take anything out to wash it with peroxide. I don't do any of that. The only thing I do, like I said, is, you know, get the right species for the tank. If you have green algae, get Nereid snails. They'll eat it right up. If you have the diatom algae, you want to get like a bristlenose or something like that, or you know, just a regular pleco. They'll eat that stuff up. Or even you can get you know, a mystery snail. They'll eat that stuff up. So, and it doesn't hurt. You just gotta make sure that those species can go together. You know, so that's what I mean by in the summertime. You want to run your tanks, and you want to pretty much have them self-sufficient, so you don't do much on them. And that's why you haven't seen many videos. But in continuing this video, the reason why I wanted to make the video is because we had some bad news this morning. Okay. Unfortunately, we had some bad news on the outside goldfish pond, and this part of the video is going to get graphic. So I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to continue to video, but this should give you the opportunity to go away. because this is kind of a graphic part of the video, and we want to be transparent. We want to show you everything because, every fish, and a lot of the reason why people leave the hobby is because they say, I kill the fish, I don't want to do it anymore, I kill too many fish. Listen, man, I kill fish too. The best of us kill fish. Ohio Fish Rescue, if you follow them, those guys are amazing. They kill fish. It happens. And most of the time it's because of a mistake that I make or they make. And so this part's going to be graphic. I'm going to shut the video right now and I'm going to edit it so give you guys a chance to move on if you don't want to see the graphic nature of the rest of the video. Okay guys, if you've been following the story on my channel about Mark the goldfish, you know that Mark is the reason why we got the goldfish in the first place, because we won it at a carnival and my wife played that game where you win the goldfish, and she won 6 goldfish and traded in for a Shabunkin, and we named him Mark because she beat Mark in the game. She got more goldfish than Mark. Mark had 0, so we named him Mark as a joke. And of course, me being the fish keeper I am, and me being challenged by people saying that this fish was going to die anyway, I said, all right, well, give me the fish and I'll make sure it doesn't die. I've had him for about 2 months, I think, about 2 months, maybe 3 months. And I had him in a 20-gallon tank. I got some friends for him, you remember on the videos, some orange goldfish that are in here. Unfortunately, when I woke up this morning, or my wife yelled for me, there's Mark on the ground right there. Okay. That's where it's graphic. I haven't moved Mark. I wanted to make the video and show you guys what can happen when you don't do your deck pond right, or any kind of pond. It's not going to be, not going to have deep water where they can't jump onto the land. I just put this on this morning. This is a mesh cover. We're going to actually get some more clamps to put this down, but this is a cover I should have had on in the first place. I didn't have this on. And I'm thinking he jumped out. I don't think a bird got him, because I looked at his scales and it looks like it just jumped out. It looks like it just jumped and committed suicide. I don't think anyone grabbed him out of there, but it can happen. And I thought maybe he'd be safe because I had so much of these pond lilies in here. It's overfilled with pond lilies, and they're growing like crazy. So I figured he would have enough cover and wouldn't be able to jump out, but I was wrong. So I made a mistake, and I didn't put a cover on like I was going to, and I lost Mark. So it's a sad day because we all love Mark. I was always getting questions about how Mark is doing, and unfortunately Mark is dead now. So there's still 3 goldfish in there. I'm probably going to go to the store and get him a Shabunkin. They're not that expensive, maybe $10, and I'll probably put another one in here. That's what the goal is. But like I said, we're going to be transparent. We're going to show you when things happen, and this is a mistake that I made. I probably should have put a cover on it in the beginning. I didn't think that he'd jump out of that tank or out of that pond. And like I said, he could have got picked up by there's a lot of birds out here. Birds might pick him up, but I don't see any markings on his body. So I'm thinking that it was just an error on my part. And I feel terrible about it because I pretty much did this whole project for him. That's the only reason why I got the pond. I did an outdoor pond. It was because I wanted to keep that fish. Because it's such a beautiful fish. It's beautiful colors. If you remember, Shabunkin. But I feel terrible about it. But this is what happens in the fish hobby if you're not careful, and you don't, use every precaution for that to happen. So, and that's my bad, my fault. So hopefully, we learned a lesson, and we can show you guys. If you do a deck pond like this, I highly recommend you put a mesh cover over it like I have here, so that it can't jump out or anything get in there. I should have had this on in the first place, but I didn't. Learn my lesson. I hope you guys learn a lesson now. that anything can happen in the fish hobby. And you can see my plan on having this to grow. This bush here, this corkscrew, is growing like crazy. And this stuff here is going up the side of the house, which is going to keep. I'm not sure what they call this, but I want this to grow up along the side so it covers kind of like a jungle area for the pond. That's what the goal was, and we're gonna get that way. But you know, these plants and pollinators will grow because they have fish in there now. They eat all the waste, so the water's good. You know, I don't know why he jumped out. Maybe he got spooked. I don't know. I did do a bog filter change yesterday. So we did some work to the filter yesterday. So maybe the tank was too dirty. He jumped out right after I did the water change, or water fix. Maybe jumped out right after that, which is possible. Probably did do that because goldfish don't like dirty water. But I have a sponge filter in there too. So the sponge filter eats up a lot of the dirt in there, and it clears up pretty quick. So, you know, we don't know. You know, like I said, it's tough to say what happened. But like I said, you can't do anything about it now. It's over. He's dead, and we got to move on. But like I said, you know, in this hobby, you can have something like this happen, and don't let yourself get down. You know, I was kind of PO'd this morning and upset about it. My wife yelled at me, and I said, "Why is this fish outside the tank?" I don't know. He probably jumped out, and that's where it started. And so we're disappointed, but the project was for, you know, I think for a good cause and for a good reason. And we're going to keep continuing to keep these goldfish in here, out here, and we're probably going to go buy another Shubunkin because I like them so much. I actually really never had experience with goldfish. I usually keep them for a little bit, then I'll give them up to somebody because I don't like to keep them in the small pond or small tank. So I may give them up after this year. I don't know. I'll may make a bigger pond, but for right now, they're gonna stay here until at least December, and we'll go from there. So that's the bad news, guys. I'm sorry to make a sad video, but this is what happens in the fish hobby. And like I said, we're gonna be transparent. We're gonna show you everything, and it's a good idea. So until next time, remember, if you can't own them, rehome them, and keep your chin up if you ever lose a fish in the hobby. I did, and I'll get over this, but it's a tough one. And if you ever do lose, don't get yourself all worked up and get out of the hobby. It's just not that big of a deal. And like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Don't be afraid to tell your friend. We're here to help anybody in the fish hobby. And once the winter time comes, we'll have more content, and we'll show you guys what we do on a consistent basis. Okay, guys? We'll see you next time.